Guys, welcome to my 2025-2026 Premier League prediction video. Now, unlike most of them, I'm not going to waffle for about 20 to 30 to 40 minutes on why I've picked each one. I just want you to see who I think is going to finish where and the rough reason why. Let's get into it. So, starting off with the relegation teams. Now, who do I think is going to be coming dead last out of all the teams on your screen now? It is Burnley. I think, although they might have a reasonably decent defensive record, they just don't score. They've got no one that can score goals in that team. So they might only lose 1-0, 2-0, 1-1 draw, if they're lucky. I don't see it being a high scoring season. They could be one of the worst teams for goals scored this season, genuinely. Like, it's got to be bad. Anyway, coming to the next team that I think are getting relegated. And it's always hard to not just put the 3 promoted teams straight back in to get relegated. But I'm not going to be doing it today. Yeah, so one of them I do believe will stay promoted. And I believe it will be Sunderland. Controversial, I know. Leeds actually look quite good, but I've also heard rumours that they might be losing their like star striker and stuff like that, and they've not made that many signings. They've made a few, but not that many signings to try and stay up. And I think Leeds are one of those perfect teams. They're better than the Championship, not quite Premier League, so they're a bit like Norwich back in the day, just yo-yo up and down every single year or every other year sort of thing. So yeah, Burnley, Leeds. Now, the next team I think are going to get relegated. Now, this is sort of unbelievably controversial. They're already in 18th, boys. I think Wolves might get relegated. Now, that is mental to say, I know. But, boys, mental things happen in the Premier League. Not really relegation, but still. I do think Wolves are going to have it rough. They've lost Cunha. They've lost Ain't-Nuri. Yes, they brought in a couple of players to replace him. They're not the same calibre. I just don't see them being anywhere near as good. And they weren't very good last year. I think they're going to have a fall-off. I think they're gone. And obviously that also means Sunderland just avoid relegation. Like, that's logical, do you know what I mean? They just avoid relegation. I think they will have a good enough season because of, and I'm not just going to blame it on Granit Xhaka, but he knows what it means to either win or grind out draws or get the dressing room to get fired up. Like, he is that guy. And I'm sure the rest of the players they've signed, because they've signed quite a few, will do something decent. But yes, I actually do believe they will stay up. Right. Above them. Now, this is where it gets messy. You can whack a whole load of teams here and it really wouldn't make any difference. I'm going to go Brentford above Sunderland. Oops-a-daisy. 16th. They have lost all of their good players, basically, and they're probably still going to lose Visser. As of filming, they haven't, but they're probably going to. And they've lost their manager, which is, I think, the glue that held Brentford together. I think they do avoid relegation, only just. Like, yet again, Sunderland, Brentford, they might be 1 or 2 points above relegation. Like, this is going to be a dicey end to the season, I think. Brentford, woeful. Right, next. Who do we think next? Oh, yes, I remember. So, I haven't, like, massively thought this out, boys, but as we go along, you'll see. Bournemouth, next. 15th. Oh, my God, I've done it again. 15th. Again, they've lost their entire back line. That's concerning. I think they could have an absolute drop-off from last year. They could have an absolute howler. 15th, they'd be lucky to get 15th, genuinely. I think they could have a really rough season. Obviously, yet again, they've lost Lanky last year. They've lost their entire back line. Everything's in turmoil. They haven't made that many signings. It's not looking great for Bournemouth. Now, next, Fulham. I just don't really, you know. They've lost Reece Nelson. The loan's finished. They've signed someone. They also might lose Muniz. I saw he's linked with someone. So I just think, yeah, I think they'll do better than the rest of these teams, but I think they will have a bit of a stinker this year. Right, now, let me just double check. I've not missed anyone that I'm thinking of here. No, I'm happy with that so far. Right, next, I think West Ham are going to have a bit of a good season. So who do I think is going to do worse than West Ham? Do you know what? Everton. Oh, but I do think Everton will have a good season. But 13th, I think for Everton is quite a good season, isn't it? Let's be honest, 13th is pretty solid for Everton. Do I think Everton will finish above Spurs, West Ham? No, actually, they finish above West Ham. They absolutely do. That's silly. West Ham 13th. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. Maybe they should be a little bit lower. I'll go 13th. Then Everton 12th. I think that's that's probably one of the better seasons they've had. Now, let's have a look. So we've got Tottenham, Forest, Newcastle United, City, Liverpool, Palace. It's either Palace or Brighton next, I think. I think Palace have a better season than Brighton. Controversial again, probably slightly. Do Brighton get top 10? Do Forest? Honestly, Forest might have a fall off. Oh, this is difficult. I could even put United. Genuinely, you could even put United. I don't think they're still going to be very good this year. Do you know what? Is that crazy? We might have to adjust this as we go. Nah, do you know? No. Let's not be too crazy. So let's go Palace. Then, if I saw Brighton versus United, who do I think win? I think Brighton at home, Man United, I think they get a draw away. So I'm actually going to put Brighton above United. Oh, I feel like I've put Forest too high though. They've got European football. Maybe that. Brighton 8th. United 10th. United 9th. They've not got European football. That definitely needs to be bared in mind. I know they've not played great at all for a long time. So we're going to go Everton, Palace. I think Palace will have a very good... They're going to lose Eze. I genuinely don't think it matters. Eze is very good for Palace. Don't get me wrong. But they'll replace him. Genuinely think they'll replace him. I'm not too worried. Forest, they'll have a fall off compared to what they did last year. But I think they finished 7th in the end. 10th, not that much lower. They've got European football. The team's very deep. They've got a big squad depth. So I don't think it'll be too much. United, I just think, roll a dice. Do you know what I mean? That's where they'll finish. Brighton, again, lost João Pedro, lost a defender, I want to say. Estupinian, I think, to like AC Milan or somewhere like that. But they'll just sign better players. That's what they do. They sign someone you've never heard of and they're just incredible. So Brighton, I think 8th. They'll have a good season this year. Next, Newcastle or Villa? I think Villa 7th, which is Conference League. I think Villa will have a fall off from this year. I think they've got Europa League this year. They won't do anywhere near that good this coming year. So 7th, still respectable, but they've not made any signings, but they've also, more importantly, not lost anyone big yet. So their squad's the exact same. So at least you know you should get roughly the same sort of results and stuff like that. But also, if you get a few injuries in key areas, you're in trouble. Next, I think Newcastle. I think Tottenham do finish above Newcastle this year. They both get Europa League. I actually don't mind. I think that's where those two will finish. Newcastle, yet again, squad depth. They get a few injuries. They're in the mud. Isak's not going to play. If they don't sell Isak, they can't make loads more signings. So they're in trouble either way. Because if they lose him, which they probably will, at least they'll get money for him. But if they don't sell him in time, then they've got no more money. He also probably still isn't going to play because they've had this sort of toxic relationship. It's not looking good for Newcastle. Still 6th though, they take that. And 5th, Tottenham, I think they have a lot better season than last year. Obviously, I think Frank will be focused on the Champions League and obviously the Prem this year. And they've made some signings, made some good signings, and still might sign Eze. That looks pretty nailed on now. Potentially Savinho as well. They need wingers. They're signing wingers. They've lost 10s. They're bringing in... it's good. It's good. I respect it. Obviously, you still don't know, but I do respect it. 4th, Chelsea. Again, I think they'll take that. That's good for them. That's very good. Chelsea, I think they've got a great squad. Yet again, a few injuries, but it's just they've got such an unbelievably deep squad for every single position. Yes, he might not know his starting 11 specifically, so like rotation's going to be mental. But once maybe he's rotated about 8 million times and they finally figure out this is the team that works best, and then they get an injury, drop in a player. Do you know what I mean? And they got European football to contend with as well, so I think they're in the money. Man City, I was actually going to put them 3rd. I think, again, they're an evolving squad right now. You really don't know what Man City are going to bring to the table, except pure class and like ball knowledge from Pep Guardiola. So you know it's going to be a bit chaos. But I just don't think they're as solid at the back. I think they will score a lot of goals, but I do still think they'll concede a lot of goals. The back line is not the same back line it's been the last year or the year before that. They've got new wing backs. They've got a few new centre backs. They've got like players that used to play left back, like Gavadio, that will probably play centre back now. Aït-Nouri's there, and it's, you know. So we'll see. Who do I think is going to win the league? Now I don't want to sound biased, but Arsenal fans have been yelling that if we sign a striker that can score goals, we will win the league, right? I feel like it would be controversial of me to not put Arsenal top after signing the one thing we've been screaming out for a while. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd still argue we need a left winger. I like Martinelli. Trossard's injured. I like Madueke. It's not Rodrigo. I like Rodrigo. We might get Rodrigo. God, I hope we get Rodrigo. But I will admit, Liverpool squad incredibly deep as well. Deep pockets on them lot. So I do genuinely think it'll be a battle of, and it's going to sound obvious, who's going to score more goals? The likes of Gyökeres, Saka, and whoever plays alongside, like Martinelli, Trossard, whoever, Madueke, versus Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah, / Jeremy Frimpong and Kirkes apparently. And Wirtz just being instrumental in that entire front three. I do think it'll be who's, but also, which is where Arsenal, I do think, have the upper hand, is who's going to concede less. I think Arsenal still have the best backline, also one of the best rotational backline. Like we've got Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, then we have Saliba, Kivior, Gabriel, Kivior, Saliba, Mascara, Ben White, Timber, Ben White. Like, we have, I would argue, other than Kivior maybe, a first team replacement in every single position. They get an injured Van Dijk, they've got Konate, and I think they've just signed a centre-back. Who did they just sign? I mean, they got Gomez and stuff like that, but they get a few injuries. They're in the mud a little bit. I mean, they still have Van Dijk, Konate, Frimpong, Kirkes, but again, they're not defending defenders. Like, Frimpong and Kirkes aren't rock solid in the back. They're great at producing chances, not so, a bit like Trent, not amazing at defending. They can do it, they're just not as good at it as a Timber, Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, or Ben White, I would argue. And yet, Lewis Skelly's still good at getting forward. Timber's still okay at getting forward. Ben White was very good at getting forward. But yeah, so I think it would be controversial to not put Arsenal top. So I'm doing it. I'm backing the boys. And that, boys, is my Premier League prediction. Burnley, Leeds, Wolves might be one of the ones that I get really badly wrong here. Sunderland, Brentford, I think will have a stinker. Bournemouth, I think will have a stinker. Fulham, I just don't. West Ham, Everton, Palace. I think they'd be happy with that. Palace maybe deserve to be a little bit higher, but we'll see. Forest, United, Brighton. Yet again, United fans are probably going to come for me. What have you given us any proof that you can come above 9th? Genuinely, like, do you know what I mean? Brighton, Villa, Newcastle. Don't think that you can really argue that. Tottenham, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Arsenal. I think that the top 4, genuinely, I think any one of them could win the league. Chelsea could win the league this year. City could, Liverpool could, and Arsenal could. Who do I think will? I think it's between Arsenal and Liverpool, but any of them genuinely could. So I don't want to come like to the end of next year and people are like, oh my God, you put Chelsea 4th. They absolutely wipe the floor with everyone. Fair enough, they might, but that's the whole point. It's a prediction, I don't know. Well, boys, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Oh, and the Liverpool-Bournemouth game will be 3-1 Liverpool. You're welcome. I've spoiled the fixture for you. Salah hopefully doesn't score anything because he's not my fantasy football. So let's go for a Wirtz, Gakpo, and Ekitike goal contribution triangle there. Like, one will get 2 goals and assist, a goal and assist, and then assist. Something like that. Well, boys, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.